yesterday we ended up getting the Season 1 trailer for Black Ops Cold War and all the content to follow with that, where we saw new maps, new Warzone experiences, some of the new weaponry and all things considered, as well as then that roadmap that we got officially published afterwards, along with a blog detailing everything else. But a little bit under the radar was actually some stuff that came out before that, in which we learned a little bit about the Warzone integration coming within Season 1, where are there still some questions that we may have? Sure, but at the same time, there's also a lot of long-standing questions that were answered with this blog post. So today, we're going to talk about this coming Warzone integration and what you can expect with Season 1. As we go along, let me know your thoughts down below. What do you guys think of this year? Are you looking forward to the Warzone integration, the new weapons from Cold War coming over into Verdansk, or whatever it may be? Feel free to let me know your thoughts. But if you are new to the channel, do be sure to hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 400,000 subscribers, and we'll keep you up to date with all things you need to know about Black Ops Cold War, Warzone, and anything COD related, especially as we round into Season 1 here. So make sure you stick it here on the channel. We're gonna have a lot of stuff you won't want to miss. But that said, let's talk about this Warzone integration. So this information comes from the official Call of Duty blog, which we can leave down there in the description below if you guys want to check out the link to that said article. But within this blog post, we ended up getting a handful of different things talking about various pieces of integration: menu integration, weapon integration, operator integration, you name it. We got a little bit covered here with all of it. So to start out, we'll talk about the menu integration here at this. For the most part, what you saw within Modern Warfare is going to be that same menu UI and what's available to navigate through when outside of Verdansk or Rebirth Island. But there's a new backdrop notably here, in which it looks like the corridors of Rebirth Island, snow-covered perhaps. You'll see that the Battle Pass tab has returned here for Season 1, but you also see a new career tab, in which they've provided an image and screenshot here for what that will look like, but it details the brand new leveling journey that you'll have across Modern Warfare, Warzone, and Black Ops Cold War, where you have to go through that initial military ranks, and then once you do that, you never have to again, but you'll see your completed prestiges and where you are in the grand scheme of your leveling journey. So whereas previously in the Barracks, that's where your rank progression was within Modern Warfare, this is now going to shift and change so that it's now in your actual career tab. But outside of that, there really isn't a whole ton in terms of menu navigation and integration that is really noteworthy to talk about, but what is noteworthy to talk about is that of weapon integration. Of course, it is confirmed that with Season 1, that integration will contain every single weapon in Cold War: 5 assault rifles, 5 SMGs, 4 marksman rifles, 3 LMGs, 3 pistols, 2 shotguns, 3 launchers, and 1 melee are all coming to Verdansk and your loadout system. Now, it later on mentions that you can acquire the new weapons coming in Season 1 as well, but it's mentioned as in season. So it's kind of an odd manner in which it's mentioned, where it's not really clear if it's available day 1 and whenever you end up unlocking that tier 15 and 31, that you can jump in and play with that within Warzone, or if that integration is actually coming at a later date for those weapons. But it is something that you have a heaping number of weapons that you can jump into that are refreshed within Season 1 for Warzone. But we also got a little bit of information in regards to how the weaponry itself will work. Not necessarily balanced, but my big concern, or I guess rather question, because it wasn't really a concern, it was just a big question mark, is how would the attachments work with Cold War weaponry? Would they utilize the same Modern Warfare attachments, or would that system of play come from Cold War and be integrated as well within Warzone? And that is something we actually got a little bit of information about as well. From a screenshot that was given from this official blog post, it looks like the attachments for Cold War will follow for Cold War weaponry, meaning that Modern Warfare weapons will utilize the Modern Warfare attachments, and Cold War weapons will utilize the Cold War attachments. Now, this is huge because right off the rip, that's kind of a little bit of a push in one direction on what version of the weapon I'll want to use, because if you've seen any of the many loadout videos we've done since Warzone launched, you know that the monolithic suppressor is about the best and only choice that I would recommend for that static attachment, one that you want on every single weapon, because it of course increases that effective damage range as well as keeps you off the radar, meaning that it's incredibly crucial for that stealth aspect of play. But also, when you're in such a big map like Verdansk, distance is definitely something you want to overcome as any sort of obstacle. So having that extra damage range is also just as key. Right now, there is no such counterpart to the monolithic suppressor in terms of Cold War attachments, so that's something that's a little bit of a bummer, but we'll see how this works out and how you'll be able to utilize these weapons by comparison. But it looks like Cold War weapons will utilize Cold War attachments, and Modern Warfare will utilize Modern Warfare attachments. So I'm incredibly looking forward to this weapon integration. It also mentioned that future weaponry and blueprints, say from the shop and the Battle Pass, will automatically be available within Warzone as they are released in Cold War, which is great. So no waiting on customization or anything like that. that. So if you want to grind out maybe say those max camos of Dark Matter Ultra or of Dark Aether, definitely get on that because you're running out of time. As for some operator integration, we actually learned a little bit about this as well. And right now we do have some operators actually already integrated into Warzone. You can play around with your favorites from the campaign and the operators we have from Black Ops Cold War and MP, but currently they're amidst the same pool of operators, meaning that it's just kind of one jumbled mess. As of the integration, not only are the Milsim operators coming to Warzone, but we'll also see a slight change in that user interface and the menus in which you can actually select those operators. Based off a screenshot showcasing this operator selection, it looks like on the D-pad, you're going to be able to toggle between either Modern Warfare or Black Ops operators, or all operators if you want to. So you can end up seeing that some will be highlighted and some will not be, or you can just completely go through all of them. So a little bit more in terms of not necessarily clarification, but maybe a better way to put it is organization here for all of these amidst every single operator. So those will be available with the integration as well, changed over slightly. And of course, with Season 1 coming and those operators alongside it, just like weaponry, any future operators will be immediately implemented into Warzone as well. So with Season 1, if you want to jump in as Stitch, you absolutely can. Once Bulldozer and Zayna are introduced into Black Ops Cold War, when they're introduced later in the season, they'll be available as well within Warzone. But outside of that, we end up seeing that a little bit more in terms of the integration for some overall challenges, and your barracks have been detailed as well, in which it mentions that what you have right now in Warzone, none of that is going to be affected. They said if you haven't earned your 400th Battle Royale victory or your 300th game of Plunder, left a few missions from previous seasons incomplete, you'll be able to pick up where all of that has been left off. So all mastery challenges and missions from prior seasons can still be completed as normal. You can find them again in that challenge tab alongside your daily challenges. Naturally, you'll still of course be able to progress your Warzone mastery challenges as well, but that might be something you may be a little bit further off from. As for your regular barracks, this again takes out that rank progression that we saw previously within Modern Warfare and instead replaces it with basically what else is there for it. The clan tag and regiment tags, calling cards, emblems, gestures, and sprays, and then your overall records and achievements depending on what platform you're on. So that kind of integration again is slightly shifted, but rounds out what we see in terms of the mainline details for Warzone coming with Season 1. Now, of course, that's just the more technical side of things. Of course, we do have that Rebirth Island coming to Warzone as well that we talked about as of yesterday, but without really taking too much time to reiterate that, it's a secondary map. It's definitely nice to see that we'll have more offerings in terms of what we'll be able to play around with within Warzone. As time progresses, I would imagine that we end up seeing more stuff happen within Warzone and Verdansk on its own, so that we end up seeing maybe new points of interest, maybe points of interest changed out for others, maybe a new map sometime in the future as well. But for right now, we're going to have a lot of stuff to play around with, and Verdansk as well as Rebirth Island is going to be interesting to see how everything plays out with all these new changes coming to weaponry, how that balance will work, and maybe there's a new meta that emerges after we drop 30 new weapons into Warzone. But that said, that's where we're going to wrap it up. That is what you need to know here about the integration and what we learned from the official COD blog. So I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. What are you guys looking forward to here in relation to Black Ops Cold War Season 1 and Warzone's integration? Whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts, but hopefully enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so it's a single thing regarding all things Black Ops Cold War, Warzone, and of course, anything related to Season 1. We'll keep you up to date with all of it. So if you're interested, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. If you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. But that said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.